I'm sorry that I lost my voice last night screaming at Yankee Stadium. I apologize. I'm sorry for being really negative about the Mets' chances last night. I was wrong. And I was wrong all night because never at any moment during that game last night, when Jeff McNeil's got his head up his ass, when Harrison Bader's caught stealing, when Jake Diekman is asked to get big outs in the ninth inning, never did I think the Mets would beat the Yankees. And guess what? I was wrong. So I start right there. My apologies.
I'm glad you lost money on that, too.
I lost a lot of money. I did a lot of emotional hedging last night. But I think, and we talked about this yesterday, the reaction to the Yankee lineup. And we're still hearing it 24 hours later.
How can you not?
I get it. J.D. Davis should not have been hitting cleanup. I agree with you guys about that. Austin Wells should have been in the starting lineup. I agree with you on that. The only thing we disagreed about was Jahmai Jones. But let's have a real conversation before we look ahead to Game 2 of the Subway Series. I don't believe the New York Yankees lost last night because of their lineup construction. I don't. And I'll tell you why I think they lost this game. Number one, and I know this is uncomfortable to hear because the guy's been amazing this year, Aaron Judge struck out against Jake Diekman. Let's start right there. You were given this incredible opportunity with Jake Diekman going after Aaron Judge. He threw a fastball right down the middle to start the at-bat. And Judge even said after the game, well, you know, he missed a Juan Soto. I want him to prove he could throw a strike. F that. Jump on it and hit it over the fence. You want to be Barry Bonds, be Barry Bonds. So I start with Judge. I get it. They walked him 4 times. In the ninth inning, the crappy Jake Diekman, and trust me, we all know he's not good, went after Aaron Judge, and he failed. So let's start right there, Teak. Am I wrong?
And, well, you're not wrong literally, but you're not right also because Aaron Judge, you can't judge Aaron Judge's day based on one at-bat. Because he didn't have any opportunities for most of this game.
I understand.
He got pitched around. He got intentionally walked. And it was funny when Mindy was asked why he decided to let Jake Diekman face Aaron Judge. He didn't have an answer to him.
Right.
I mean, it would have been smart to say, why put the go-ahead run on first base? But he didn't have an answer. He just used his gut. And kudos for Mindy for getting that gut feel right. It probably is not going to work out that way if he'd had to do it again. But well, I know what you're saying. Aaron Judge had an opportunity to play hero, but playing hero in baseball is so difficult when it's one at bat.
I get you.
It's 3 or 4 pitches that we're talking about. To me, this loss goes down to the ineptitude at the top of the lineup. Aaron Boone simply cannot construct lineups that way. You can't have zero protection behind Aaron Judge. You can't have Jose Quintana dancing around Aaron Judge, giving him nothing basically in the zone. What did he throw him? They had his first 3 at bats.
14 pitches, 12 balls.
Exactly. Yeah. He had 2 strikes in 14
Dude,
pitches.
I agree J.D. Davis shouldn't have been hitting cleanup, but that's not why they lost the game.
Yes,
that's all I'm saying. No, it's not.
Yes, it is, because there were opportunities with batters on base, Aaron Judge essentially on base, where they could take no advantage of it.
They were going to pitch around Aaron Judge no matter who is hitting behind him unless he flipped Soto and Judge, which is a worthy discussion. So if Glaber was hitting cleanup or Volpe was hitting cleanup or dare I say Verdugo was hitting cleanup, they were going to pitch around him, and there's no guarantee that those guys were going to come through.
Yeah.
And by the way, both guys that you guys hate, J.D. Davis and Jahmai Jones, they got pinch hit for. By the 7th inning, they weren't in the game. When Aaron Judge was intentionally walked in the 7th inning, Ben Rice came up, the guy you wanted to see play, and he just missed it, but he missed it.
He made a run at it.
Okay.
And by the way,
was caught.
Ben Rice is sitting there in cleanup for the first 6 innings of this game. Do I believe that he knocks a base hit, that he moves someone to third base, that he gets an RBI? Yes, I do.
What's that based on? He's 4 for his last 40. Literally, Ben Rice hasn't hit. Now all of a sudden he's Lou Gehrig?
No, the fact that he takes good approaches at the plate. J.D. Davis's first at-bat was literally the most discouraging thing I've ever seen.
It was bad.
He swung at 3 balls in the dirt. In the dirt.
I get you.
It weren't even like fastballs. It was breaking balls or cutters, or it was changeups that weren't even making it to the plate.
He was awful.
He was terrible.
I'm not defending J.D. Davis.
And so, to me, if you're gonna just throw somebody in there to bat behind Aaron Judge, make it someone who might just happen to run into something.
Tiki,
that is not J.D. Davis.
I agree with you that J.D. Davis shouldn't have batted cleanup, okay? What I'm telling you is for the last 24 hours, all I've heard is the lineup.
It's not the lineup.
Juan Soto.
It's the cleanup hitter.
Okay.
It's who's protecting your best two players.
Tiki, I agree with you. I give that to you guys. It was a bad decision. Juan Soto was 0 for 4 with a walk.
Yeah, but you played.
Aaron Judge struck out against the crappy Jake Diekman and took a fastball right down the middle. Let's just ignore that, though. Let's not mention that.
Evan, you know baseball too well to fall for something like that. I'm disappointed that you're using that.
For what? Those are their two best players. They did nothing in this game.
I'm disappointed you're using that lazy excuse for why the Yankees won. That you know it too well to put it on one at bat. It is impossible to do that.
I didn't.
Baseball.
I'm including Juan Soto's 3 other at-bats. If Juan Soto doesn't ground out
Judge, you said Aaron Judge striking out to the crappy Jake Diekman. Well, guess what? The sunshine's on a dog's ass every now and then.
Well, no, but hold on.
And so
the way I look at a baseball game is there are different moments that cost you games. And by the way, I haven't even gotten all of them because there's a lot of others that cost them the game. And the Mets had moments that could have or should have cost them their game. Aaron Judge coming up against Jake Diekman with a runner on first and 1 out. Of course, you're right. It's baseball. You don't succeed 80% of the time.
Exactly
I acknowledge that. But that was a golden opportunity where you had Diekman going after Aaron Judge, and he failed.
Aaron Judge
it's
is
one
not,
at-bat, but he failed.
Aaron Judge is not batting 1,000.
I get that.
He's not.
So what do you want me to do? Like not mention the at-bat?
No.
Just talk about J.D. Davis in the first 5 innings of the game? Is that what you guys want to do?
The at-bat is the at-bat. But you can't say that that's the reason that they lost the game.
One of the reasons. I got a whole list. Juan Soto going 0 for 4, that's not a part of it? We're just going to ignore that.
Of course it is.
Okay, well, I'm mentioning that.
Look, I give Jose Quintana a lot of credit because for the first time in a while, I saw Juan Soto confused. Like reaching and like, oh, crap, let me get my bat on that one. And he just three straight to Pete Alonso. So I give Jose Quintana a ton of credit for handling a lefty.
But that's a part of why they lost.
Which he should do, by the way.
I get it. That's a part of why they lost. To just lazily blame it on, it's the lineup, it stinks. Meanwhile, J.D. Davis, and those at-bats were bad, Teak. I am not arguing with you and defending J.D. Davis. Can I make that clear?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have batted him cleanup. I agree with you about that. But to say that's why they lost simply is not fair. I'll give you another example. And you ready? You Boone haters, I'm going to give you your blood. You want hate for Aaron Boone? I'll give you hate for Aaron Boone. When Jeff McNeil is at the plate with a runner on third and 1 out in the 6th inning of a tie game, and he has been hitting lately, and the guys on deck are Luis Torrens and Tyrone Taylor, and that's the lead run on third base, you can't face him.
I botched it again.
That was a bad move by Boone, so let's talk about it. Aaron Boone should not have allowed in that inning, in the 6th inning, with Michael Tonkin, who stinks, to face Jeff McNeil in that spot. He should have been walked. And what does Luis Torrens do? I don't know. Maybe grounds into a double play. Maybe it's a 3-run home run. I have no idea. But you know McNeil's been hitting. He had hit 4 home runs in the last 4 games. You can't face him there. That's a mistake by Aaron Boone. That's number 3. You want another one? And by the way, Chunky over here defended this. Alex Verdugo. I want you to listen very carefully. I understand you're a mess right now. Okay, we all get it. You stink right now. With 1st and 2nd and nobody out, and the bottom of the order coming up, bunting is a loser move. It's
no, it's not.
It's an absolute loser move. Who's up next?
Evan, who's up next?
Narvaez?
And who's up after him? The same guy that you sat, looked at the audience, and looked at me and Tiki in the eye yesterday and said, he has earned his at-bats. I believe he'll break out of it. He hit a home run the day before. And DJ LeMahieu lollipop flies out in that spout batting 9th. Alex Verdugo, if you're going to struggle and there's no answers behind you, at least he did something productive there. How about the guys behind him? And you know what? Narvaez, okay, well, where's Austin Wells in the lineup at that point, too? For you to start this show today and pin this, one of the biggest reasons was Aaron Judge in that spot. When
That's
J.D.
one of
Davis,
the reasons,
dude,
yes.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. It's not the,
What?
I'm not saying that's the only reason,
Why
but
does it
let's
come down
be
to that?
honest about why they lost the game instead of just blaming it on the lineup. Who got pinched in for?
Why is the game even in that spot where it's coming down to Aaron Judge at 3-2 in the ninth? Why is it in that spot? Because of the lineup that was already put in forth in that game. The idea that Aaron Judge was on base 4 times in this game, and J.D. Davis is swinging at balls in the dirt, or with 1 out, grounds into a double play, which, by the way, the next inning was the inning where they finally scored. You get Volpe gets on, Verdugo gets on in that spot. Down the line, the Yankees put a guy with a -16 OPS plus as a Yankee in the cleanup hole who hasn't played a month last night,
Yeah, but
and
Shaun,
it set the team up for failure last night.
See, you guys, I agree with you. That's the part you're not understanding. J.D. Davis should not have had a cleanup. I'll say it to you 550 times. I said it to you yesterday. I did not like that move. What I'm arguing with you about is to just pin this loss on that is not fair. There are other factors, and I just laid a few of them out. I'm not saying it's only Aaron Judge, Tiki. I'm saying that at-bat was a part of it. Juan Soto going 0 for 4 is a part of it.
It was a huge missed opportunity.
Yes, Aaron Boone not walking Jeff McNeil with a base open was a part of it. Alex Verdugo laying down a loser-ish bunt is a part of it. Yes, those are all factors.
I hear you on Jeff McNeil, but Jeff McNeil hasn't had the greatest season. So the last thing you think is he's going to hurt you that way.
I think he's hot, and I think you've got to be careful, especially with Terrence and Taylor coming up. That's the way I looked at it. That's what I'm thinking sitting there, and I'm trying to be an IBO. Obviously, I'm a Met fan, and I know I want Jeff McNeil swinging the bat.
Yeah.
If they take the bat out of his hands, as well as Terrence has played, and I give him credit, he was on base twice before that, I still wouldn't have loved that as a Met fan.
Evan, the Yankee lineups are obviously no secret. We've been pounding the table for this for 6 weeks. All the problems in the world. When you compound yourself and decide you're going to play the whole lefty-righty game and take a couple of your let's just call them not even good bats you'd rather have in the lineup than X out of it, you have already set your team up for a position where when it comes down to Aaron Judge, you have no room for error. And that is where it's set off. Aaron Judge is not allowed to strike out in that spot because of the lineup set forth that started the whole game that puts him in a spot where they have no room for error.
But Shaun and Tiki, here's the other problem. The alternatives are not much better. Ben Rice is going through a massive slump right now.
He is.
I get that you think he's Lou Gehrig. I understand that.
I've never said he's Lou Gehrig.
But
I don't think he is.
you're talking about him as if, if he plays, things are different.
No, I'm just telling you that he has the ability to run into something. J.D. Martinez's approach, J.D. Davis' approach at the plate was horrendous last night.
I agree.
He looked overmatched. And I hate to say that for a veteran, but he looked overmatched.
Tiki, I'll take it a step further. J.D. Davis should be DFA today, okay? J.D. Davis is, I think, 1 for 17 as a Yankee, and I actually think he's worse than the 1 for 17. He's been dreadful.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing with you guys about that, and I don't disagree that he shouldn't have been hitting cleanup. But to simplify that loss last night, a game the Yankees could have won, a game that the Mets tried to give away. Let's face it, the Mets made plenty of mistakes. Harrison Bader's caught off second. Francisco Lindor strikes out in a big spot. Jeff McNeil has a horrific base running decision. The Mets don't have Edwin Diaz available to where they're using Jake Diekman in the 9th inning.
Right, bases loaded in the 8th.
Yeah.
They got away. No runs.
The Mets continue to fail in big spots, which is
not wrong.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that go into a loss. And what's bothered me over the last 15 hours is like every Yankee fan, or at least the majority of them, are just repeating the same. It's the lineup.
It's not the lineup.
It's not
what we're talking about.
Dude.
We're talking specifically about one decision, and that's not protecting your best hitters. And you can't do that against teams that have some quality pitching because they're just going to dance around your best hitters.
Well, Teak, they're going to dance around your best hitters no matter what. That's the reality.
I mean, who thought we would pine so hard for Giancarlo Stanton at this point?
God, give him the MVP.
I'm serious.
Well, you know, and I'll tell you why you make a great point about that, okay? If Giancarlo Stanton, especially because of his history against the Mets, which does play a part of it in my mind, if Giancarlo Stanton is protecting Aaron Judge, are the Mets being as aggressive in not facing him as the way they handled last night? Because last night when Aaron Judge came up in the first inning, there were 2 outs and nobody on. So imagine, instead of J.D. Davis backing him up as Giancarlo, or is Jose Quintana pitching around him? Maybe, maybe not. In the 3rd inning, with 1 out and nobody on, is he pitching around Aaron Judge or Giancarlo next?
Probably not.
Probably not. So I do agree that they are missing Giancarlo Stanton on a major level. But what I would tell you is while Gleyber Torres or Anthony Volpe are better options than J.D. Davis, I'm a better option than J.D. Davis. That is not going to change the fact that Mendy wasn't going to let Judge beat him. They were going to pitch around him no matter what.
He did until he got lucky in the ninth inning.
Okay, so the ninth inning, I think, is a really complicated, interesting baseball discussion. Would you like to have that baseball discussion? Okay. Walking the winning run to first base and putting the tying run on second base on the road with less than 2 outs is the most unorthodox thing you will ever see in baseball.
Right.
Now, the reason I would have done it, I'm going to raise my hand and tell you I disagreed with Carlos Mendoza. I would have walked Aaron Judge last night and done one of the most unorthodox things in the history of baseball. Has everything to do with my lack of faith in Jake Diekman. Has everything to do with the fact that Jake Diekman striking out Aaron Judge last night, maybe I'm exaggerating, is a top 5 most shocking moment.
It was pretty damn shocking. And because, I left in the 6th inning.
Yeah, we'll more on that later.
But when I was listening to it in the car, and I'm listening to Susan talking about Edwin Diaz is not coming in the game. He's sitting right next to me. I was like, wow, because I thought he was available.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
We were guessing the last 4 innings of this game. Loogie, Shaun, and I were all going back and forth on it. I, too, assumed that he would be available, but he was not.
And when he wasn't, that's when the hope that a Yankee steal was happening. Like they were stealing this game despite not playing well for most of it. And they didn't.
But that... The fact that it was, if Edwin Diaz is pitching in the 9th inning of this game, I would not suggest walking Aaron Judge.
Of course not.
I wouldn't. I would suggest, Deadnale Nunez is pitching the 9th inning. I wouldn't have suggested it because I do think it is so risky to put the tying run on second base, the winning run on first base. But because it was Diekman, who's actually effective against lefties and ineffective against righties, I would have walked him. Now, the Mets decided not to. I think it's one of the most fascinating decisions you can have in baseball. It's not being talked about that much because I think we're distracted by a million other things.
Of course.
We're distracted by J.D. Davis was batting cleanup. Can you believe it? Meanwhile, when Judge struck out, J.D. Davis wasn't up next because Ben Rice pinch hit for him 2 innings earlier. And what did Ben Rice do, by the way? He grounded out.
Dude, remember when Aaron Judge got hurt a month or 2 ago?
At least he put the bat on the ball.
And missed a game or 2? Does anybody remember this?
Yeah.
What did Aaron Judge say about why he stayed in the game for another inning? What did he say about
I don't remember.
I will tell you because I remember.
He said it was unfair for whoever
for Trent Grisham to come in cold out of the game.
Yes.
So now you're using these guys pinch hitting late as an excuse as to why we shouldn't be worried about the lineup at the beginning of the game. They were all cold and not prepared to play that game.
Oh, Shaun.
And
Shaun.
don't short me. You heard from the Yankee captain that this is an issue.
Shaun.
These guys should have been in the lineup from the beginning, but you're so worried about these stupid lefty-righty matchups and not just playing who the better damn player is in a game you need to win.
No, hold on. You guys do that in such a way like the alternatives that were sat are so much better. What is Ben Rice's numbers against lefties this year?
Who gives a crap about J.D. Davis's numbers all freaking year? Him is DFA by the A's who don't even have a home.
Shaun, forget J.D. Davis. I agree he stinks, okay?
Those should be hitting cleanup in a lineup play the New York Yankees.
How many times do I have to tell you I agree he shouldn't have been hitting cleanup? Like, what do you want me to say?
So then don't come on here to say Judge can't strike out there. That starts right there.
Dude,
he can't play, Evan. I don't want to scream and yell. He cannot play on this team.
Shaun, J.D. Davis should watch this. Watch this, Tiki. Tell me if I'm really doing gymnastics.
He already said it.
He can't hit cleanup. He shouldn't hit cleanup. That is not the main reason why they lost this game. There are other reasons why they lost this game. I just laid out 7 of them. Do you disagree with everything I said?
They played 6 innings as if it was a 4th preseason game in the NFL, dude.
I think the problem is you're putting it on Judge, and you can't put it on Judge because Judge essentially had one opportunity.
I'm talking about that moment. Yes, he had a great opportunity against Jake Diekman. I'm also putting it on Juan Soto. I'm also putting it on Alex Verdugo. I'm also putting it on Aaron Boone.
Agreed. But when you lead with Judge being the main reason, and he had one opportunity. Soto had 5, right? Verdugo had 4. Right? Aaron Judge had one opportunity, and he failed at it. But that's baseball, Susan.
Well,
right? We know it. He got one shot to get a hit,
Tiki,
and he missed at it.
Here's the reality.
But he doesn't hit 1,000. He's hitting 300. So he was in that 70% failure zone that he lives in. And by the way, may win every other batting title. Who knows?
Look it up. And this may be depressing. This may give you a lack of confidence if you're a Yankee fan, or this may not be surprising. When Juan Soto and Aaron Judge don't get base hits in a game, and they had a combined 0 hits yesterday. Juan Soto was 0 for 4. Aaron Judge was 0 for 1. When they don't get hits, the Yankees don't win.
Wow, God, that sounds
They
very
need their
familiar.
star players to perform at a high level.
You know what sounds familiar about that?
Don't do this.
It sounds so familiar. Back to 2022 when Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs. You know what else we said that season? Oh, God, when he doesn't hit, they don't score.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now it's when Soto and Judge don't hit, they don't score.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yes.
this comes back to the same problem that Yankee fans have dealt with for a decade, it feels like. There's just not enough assurance that guys can hit on this team.
You are
Period.
right, and that is why there are 6 days left until the trade deadline. We are T-minus 6 days away, and I compiled a list. And a little bit later on, we'll go through the list of great Yankee targets. What?
You know what you're hearing from Shaun Marash here and his fellow Yankee brethren? It's called coping. Let me take you behind the curtain a little bit from last night. Tiki, you left in the 6th inning. Shaun, when Aaron Judge stepped to the plate, the mighty Aaron Judge, he took his cell phone out, didn't you, Shaun? And you started filming the entire at-bat. You were all excited. And
I did notice that,
You didn't
yeah.
care about J.D. Davis or anybody else in the lineup at that point because you were ready to capture that moment. And as Aaron Judge went quietly into the night, as Jake Diekman struck him out looking, Shaun sat his little fat ass down, put his phone away, tucked his tail between his legs, and he went home.
Oh, so it's Shaun's fault again.
No, they are coping. They don't want to give the Mets credit because you know what? The Mets run this city right now, and there's not a damn. All right, name call. Here come the name calling. Here comes the bullying.
Here come the name calling. No.
You suck.
I'm not fighting you on that, Loogie, because guess what? No matter what happens tonight, the Mets win this series. The Subway Series, the Mets have won. Right? They've already won 3 of 4. So they've won the Subway Series. You're absolutely right. But it's funny that you're blaming Shaun again, because it might be. Because Shaun, you typify what I hate about our society right now. I wasn't there, so I can't even knock you in person. But when people are in a moment and they take the time to pull out a cell phone instead of enjoying that moment, it drives me absolutely insane.
I'm so glad.
I promise you, Shaun, that MLB will have a much better, higher quality, detailed, and produced reproduction of Aaron Judge going yard and winning the damn game. I promise you that. Put your damn phones away and watch what the hell you're watching.
Tiki, I don't disagree with you at all. I've now, in the course of 23 minutes, been called chunky by Evan. Fat ass by Lou Gower.
I said you had a fat ass.
And you saying you hate everything I represent in
No,
society.
not everything you hate and represent inside society, but you become bougie and you become, I want to be a part of the moment.
I do.
Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah, and
Stop sitting in suites, sit on your ass and cheer, or stand up and cheer for your guy, but put your phone away and stop going into bougie suites with the caviar and champagne. Only I can do that on this show.
Where are we watching the Mets next Wednesday? Let me just say this for Lou Gower, who, by the way, sit my fat ass down and left the stadium. I also gave him a free ride home.
Thank you.
Guys.
Which is out of your way, right?
Yeah, I mean, semi. Semi cost me a few minutes. He got home an hour earlier, so yeah, very nice friend I was. Evan, because there was a guy standing right in front of us in an Aaron Rodgers jersey rooting for the Mets.
That's true.
Said, you know what should be really film this Judge at bat right now, and we'll have it. Whatever happens, I did it for the show.
I
not for
never
Jordan.
said that.
Are you serious?
I never said
You
that.
absolutely said we got to catch this on film right now.
No, I said you should take a picture of the fact that your vantage point of this moment is Aaron Rodgers in your face. That's what I said. But see, what I took out of what Loogie said is far different than what you did.
Go ahead.
And that is, yeah, J.D. Davis shouldn't have batted cleanup, okay? J.D. Davis had 3 of the most pathetic at-bats you will ever see. We all agree. But in the 9th inning of this game, the Yankees were set up. They had the tying run on first base. They had the winning run at the plate. And Carlos Mendoza, and he doesn't even know why, was making a decision that he could regret. To have the crappy Jake Diekman, watch this, as positive as Tommy is, what do you think of Jake Diekman?
Love him.
Shut up. You're lying now. He stinks.
He's Mr. Positive. Doesn't matter what you say.
In this moment, it didn't matter that J.D. Davis was batting cleanup. He had already been pinch hit for. It didn't matter that Jahmai Jones was leading off. You had your best hitter at the plate with a runner on first and 1 out, and maybe the crappiest reliever the Mets have throwing cookies down the middle. And you weren't bemoaning the lineup construction because it was right there in front of you. And then after that, even after Aaron struck out, you had Ben Rice. You had the guy you wanted. He could have hit a 2-run home run. He just missed one 2 innings earlier, and they failed. And that's the part of the game that you can't just ignore. I'm not saying don't bring up the lineup, but let's not ignore the other aspects that cost your team this game.
Sure. And if they're up 5-3 at that point because J.D. Davis doesn't ground into a double play, or Jahmai Jones with two guys on can't figure it out, or LeMahieu with runners in second and third fly out. If the Yankees took advantage of any of those other opportunities, then it doesn't come down to that is the point, Evan. Baseball is about more than one inning. I'll teach you something about the game, kiddo.
Two things the Yankee fans, Shaun included, don't want to do here. They don't want to give the Mets an ounce of credit, and they don't want to crush Aaron Judge. The guy gets more passes in this town than any athlete. You want to talk about Jalen Brunson? Wake me up when Aaron Judge wins a World Series. He's in a big spot there, and he did nothing. Struck out looking to Jake Diekman. Okay, good night.
Your
Enjoy the flight home.
Your call's coming up.
Please get the calls. He brought Jalen Brunson into this. It's enough.
Well, here's what I know, and I'm no Knick fan. Jalen Brunson gets a wide open three. He's probably hitting it. That's just me.
Yeah, okay.
Toll-free numbers.
Lose to the Pacers again.
Toll-free numbers, 888-808-1019. We'll get the angry Yankee fan perspective to my fellow Met fans. I walked out of Yankee Stadium. Loogie walked out of Yankee Stadium yesterday, and we were singing. So we will hear from the happy Met fan as well. Plus, what did Carlos Mendoza mean when he said, I don't know why I decided to have Jake Diekman face Aaron Judge. We'll explore it coming up live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.